Hello, hello. My name is Hannah, and this is week 14 of The Only Way Through, which started as a promise I made to myself to start showing up here and recording these videos and just seeing what happens. And the theory and the hypothesis is that it is the only way through my creative blocks and my limiting beliefs about myself and the trap of perfectionism that I found myself stuck in for a long time. And so yeah, I just keep showing up. I'm not gonna lie though, this week is one of the weeks that it is hard and that I have been resisting. As you can tell, even it starts happening in my voice, and it starts with me being tongue-tied, basically. Yeah, it might actually be the hardest that it's been, which is interesting because 2 weeks ago I posted a video about what I have learned. It was week 13, and I was feeling so energized that week and so clear, and I think sometimes in response to that kind of clarity and motivation, the inner critic can come back with like a vengeance and is like, oh, you think you've learned something? Oh, you think you've learned something? Let me show you that you haven't. And so I'm feeling like extra resistance, maybe more than I ever have. And I think it was also amplified by the fact that I missed last week because I was out in the world and having a good time and busy, and I during that week was like, okay, I'm gonna miss this week. I'm out living my life, and I felt okay about that. But then this week, when now I'm sitting down to record, there is the inner critic, and it's almost louder because the last video I posted, as I said, I felt this clarity, and then I took a week off, and so now the voice is like, oh, like, you haven't learned anything, and the proof is that you missed last week, so you're losing momentum. Why not lose more momentum? It's time to go internal. Who cares? You don't even know what you're doing here. Like, it's time to shut it down. It's safer to do that. And I know my inner critic at this point. I know I've talked about it before. And that its ultimate goal, even though it is very harsh in doing this, it is to keep me safe and to keep me doing the things that it is used to me doing. So I know that. And I think that, sticking to what I have been theorizing, that many have theorized before, that like the only antidote to that old story that the inner critic comes back and tells me every time is to, with small actions, start rewriting that story. And then with new evidence, a new story gets stronger and more easy to believe, and therefore real change begins to happen. I hope that makes sense. The inner critic just was like, that didn't make any sense. It's like, no, that was rambly. It's loud today. It's very loud. It's loud like the hum of my fridge, which basically every time I started to record would like get even louder, and it's just like a physical manifestation of my inner critic. It like comes in and it just like makes everything cloudy. Now I'm like, what was I even talking about? But I know this feeling, the cloudy feeling. It happened to me a lot when I started therapy. Whenever I was getting into a topic that was hard or that felt, extra scary for whatever reason, this cloud would descend and I wouldn't be able to speak, basically. I wouldn't be able to form a sentence. Everything would go tingly. And in therapy, my therapist got me to describe when that was happening, as opposed to fighting it, just to be really present and call out the physical sensations. And by doing that, I learned to be able to recognize when that was occurring in other parts of my life, other times, and to be able to be in the murkiness of it allowed me to move through it. And it still happens to me sometimes, even with years of practicing moving through that. The cloudiness still descends some weeks, some days, some minutes. And I think what I have learned is just being honest about it is important. And it's okay to be in it. And the learning comes from being in that cloudy state, or really, believing the inner critic and being able to describe the inner critic's voice, and then be able to through getting to know that inner critic, start to be able to understand why it is the way it is, what it's trying to do, and then being able to speak back to it, and then slowly moving through that. And the cloud and the inner critic to me are linked, right? It's like my inner critic has like a weapon that, like, I don't know, a smoke machine that just like comes in to like just, oh, you're thinking too much about this, too deeply, you're doing something scary, and you're expanding too much, or you're growing. Now let me come in with this smoke to blur what you're seeing. But yeah, it happens, and that's okay. That's what I'm in right now, and it's okay to be in it. And that's all I gotta say this week. That's where I'm at. And even in my body, just being honest about that with you guys feels important, and like the only possible thing, the most authentic thing, and the most grounding thing to right now, and that feels good, for lack of a better word. Inner critic came in again, could you tell? I'm just gonna leave it there, but let me know if any of this resonated with you. It can be a lot, but I'm trusting, I'm learning to trust, continuing to learn to trust that I will move through this. So yeah, all right, take good care, talk soon.